My beloved child, I know you are tired, but this is not the hour to walk away. This is not the moment to loosen your grip, turn your face aside, and say within your heart, "It will never happen for me." I have seen the weight you have carried in silence. I have heard the prayers you whispered when no one was near. I have watched you stand at doors that did not open, and I have felt the ache in your soul each time someone else seemed to move forward while you were still waiting. But listen to me now, my dear one. Delay is not denial, and silence is not rejection. What you have called the end may be the very place where heaven is opening the door. You have waited so long that your heart has begun to confuse time with abandonment. You prayed, and the answer did not appear. You knocked, and the door remained shut. You looked around and saw others celebrating what you have been begging me for, and a question rose quietly inside you. Lord, did you forget me? But my child, I did not forget you. I did not leave you behind. I was holding back what would have crushed you if it arrived before its appointed hour, and now I am telling you, do not quit while the surprise is already standing at the door. There are many who abandon their post in the last 5 minutes before the blessing is released. They endure the wilderness, survive the tears, withstand the rejection, and then, when heaven is closer than it has ever been, they grow weary and step away. Do not let that be your story. Do not leave the place where I told you to stand. Do not surrender your promise to one tired emotion. Do not make a permanent decision in the shadow of a temporary silence. The enemy would love for you to walk away now, not because nothing is coming, but because something is near. My beloved child, this is not abandonment. This is the final testing of trust before release. I am examining whether you will still believe me when your eyes have not yet seen, whether you will still obey me when your feelings are trembling, whether you will still call me faithful when the night seems longer than you expected. Be still. Hold your place. Napi, the door is not closed forever. Heaven is moving closer than your weariness can understand. And as you listen, let your heart answer me. Like this video, not as a small movement of your hand, but as a quiet act of agreement that you will not quit in the doorway of your miracle. And write these words with faith, I will wait because God is at the door. My beloved child, I want you to understand what I was doing while you thought nothing was happening. Not one day of your waiting has been wasted. Not one tear fell into emptiness. Not one prayer disappeared into the air. You measured the season by what did not open, what did not arrive, what did not change. But I measured it by what I was covering, what I was strengthening, what I was removing, and what I was planting deep within you where no eye could see. You called it delay, but I called it covering. You called it rejection, but I called it redirection. You called it being overlooked, but I called it being hidden under the shadow of my wings. There were doors you begged me to open, and when they stayed closed, your heart trembled and wondered if my favor had passed you by. But my child, if I had opened those doors too soon, they would have exposed you to pressure your heart was not yet strong enough to carry, to voices you were not yet wise enough to discern, to opportunities that looked like blessing but carried snares beneath their beauty. I kept certain people from receiving you because they would have mishandled what was still tender in you. I closed certain rooms because the atmosphere inside them would have fed pride before humility had taken root. I withheld certain promotions, certain relationships, certain answers, not because I was angry with you, but because I loved you too deeply to let premature access destroy what I was still forming. A seed does not accuse the soil of abandonment while it is hidden beneath the ground. It does not see the sun, yet life is moving through it. It does not hear applause, yet roots are being formed. So it has been with you. My silence never meant my absence. My stillness never meant I had stopped working. In the quiet, I was building unseen roots. In the delay, I was purifying motives that even you did not know were mixed. I was teaching your prayers to become deeper than requests. I was teaching your worship to become stronger than feelings. I was showing you the difference between wanting my hand and wanting my heart. There were moments when you came to me only because you needed the door to open, but through waiting, I began drawing you to myself, even when the door remained closed. Do you see now, my dear one? The waiting season was not empty space between promise and fulfillment. It was a holy covering. It was the place where I exposed false attachments, where I revealed what you were afraid to lose, where I showed you which voices had too much authority over your peace. I allowed the silence to press on you, not to break you, but to reveal what still needed healing before the blessing arrived. For if the gift had come while your identity was still in people, people would have controlled your joy. If the surprise had arrived while your heart was still hungry for approval, applause would have become a chain around your soul. But I have been making you steady. I have been making you clean. I have been teaching you to stand when no one claps, to pray when no one understands, to obey when there is no visible reward. This is why the wait has felt long. I was not only preparing the blessing for you, I was preparing you for the blessing. I was forming someone who could receive abundance without bowing to it, someone who could walk through an open door and still know that I am the doorkeeper, the provider, the source, and the treasure. So, do not despise the covered season. Do not curse the hidden years. Do not call wasted what I have called protected. Once you understand that your waiting has been covering, you will begin to understand why the surprise had to be held back until this exact hour. It was not late. It was guarded. It was not denied. It was preserved. And now, my child, what I protected you from has made room for what I am preparing to place in your hands. My beloved child, hear me with a sober heart. A blessing can lift a person, but it can also expose what was never healed. An open door can reveal humility, but it can also reveal pride that was hidden while the door was closed. Abundance can become a testimony, but if the heart is not anchored in me, abundance can become the very place where the soul begins to drift. This is why I delayed the surprise, not because I was unwilling to give it, not because my hand was empty, not because heaven had forgotten your name. I held it back because it was too heavy for an unprepared heart. You asked me for increase, but I was asking whether your character could carry increase. You asked me for the answer, but I was asking whether your obedience would survive the answer. You asked me for the door, but I was asking whether you would still bow before me after the door opened. My child, there are blessings that require more than desire. They require maturity. They require surrender. They require a heart that will not worship the thing it once prayed for. If I had placed it in your hands too early, your hands might have been full, but your spirit would have become empty. Do not misunderstand my delay. This is not punishment. It is protection. I know what sudden favor can do to a wounded heart. I know how applause can intoxicate someone who has lived too long, feeling unseen. I know how answered prayer can become dangerous when the soul begins to say, "Now I am secure," and slowly forgets the one who gave the answer. I have seen people survive hardship with prayer on their lips, only to lose their tenderness when comfort arrived. I have seen people cling to me in the wilderness, then become careless in the palace. I have seen tears produce humility and success expose pride. Remember Solomon, my child. He did not fall in the days of hunger and lack. He fell in the day of abundance. Wisdom was given to him, wealth surrounded him, honor rested upon his name. Doors opened before him that many men would have dreamed of entering. Yet abundance became the place where his heart drifted. The danger was not that I failed to bless him. The danger was that blessing revealed the direction of his affections. His heart slowly turned, not in one loud rebellion, but through quiet compromise, through tolerated idols, through divided devotion. And this is why I have been cleansing you before I increase you. The enemy is patient when he sees destiny. He does not always attack you only in poverty. Sometimes he waits for prosperity. He waits for attention. He waits for influence. He waits for the answered prayer, then whispers, "Now you do not need to pray as deeply. Now you do not need to listen as carefully. Now you can lean on your own name, your own gift, your own strength." He is very skilled at using open doors as hidden traps. He knows how to wrap pride in the language of confidence. He knows how to make forgetfulness feel like freedom. He knows how to turn a blessing into a snare when the heart is not guarded. So I tested you in the hidden place. I allowed you to seek me without applause. I allowed you to obey me without recognition. I allowed you to give when no one noticed, forgive when no one thanked you, keep standing when no one understood the cost. I was not trying to shame you. I was training you. I was teaching your spirit not to become drunk on visibility. I was teaching your soul to find its worth in my voice before other voices began to celebrate you. For when the door opens, many will speak. Some will praise you. Some will envy you. Some will try to use you. Some will try to pull you back into the old version of yourself. And if your heart is not settled in me, their voices will become louder than mine. Now answer me honestly, my dear one. Will you still seek me when the door opens? Will you still obey me when people celebrate you? Will you still be humble when the answer arrives? Will you still come into the secret place when your life becomes busy with what you prayed for? Will you still say, Lord, all of this belongs to you, when your hands are finally holding what your tears once begged for? If I give you the surprise, will you protect your altar? If I lift you, will you still kneel? If I increase you, will you still remember the wilderness where I formed you? These questions are not to condemn you, but to bring the focus back to your heart. I do not want the blessing to take you from me. I do not want the gift to become a golden chain. I do not want the door to become an idol. I want you to receive what I have prepared and still remain tender, obedient, pure, and close. This is why I refined your desire. This is why I touched your motives. This is why I allowed the waiting to reveal what still needed surrender. The blessing is weighty, my child. And because it is weighty, I had to strengthen more than your faith. I had to strengthen your character. And now, because what is coming must not be contaminated, I must also refine the circle around you. My beloved child, do not be surprised that as I prepare the door, I also touch the circle around you. I do not only prepare your heart for the blessing, I prepare your environment. I prepare the voices that will stand near you. I prepare the hands that will be allowed to touch what I am placing in your life. And this is why some people had to leave. You called it rejection. You called it betrayal. You called it abandonment. But in truth, my child, much of what left you was heaven's intervention, because they were connected to the old season, not to the surprise waiting at the door. I know it hurt when they walked away. I know your heart searched for reasons. I know you replayed conversations and asked, was it my fault? Did I do something wrong? Why did they change when I was already weak? But listen to me with a tender and sober heart. Not every departure is loss. Not every closed relationship is failure. Not every silence from a person means you have been rejected. There are times when I remove someone because they cannot stand beside the weight of what I am about to release. There are people who can sit with you in the wilderness, but cannot rejoice with you at the door. There are people who can pity your pain but cannot survive your promotion. There are people who love you as long as you remain small enough for them to feel comfortable. My child, certain relationships would have become leaks. They would have drained your peace, drained your faith, drained your focus, and slowly drained the blessing I entrusted to you. Their words would have planted confusion in the soil of your obedience. Their jealousy would have touched your joy. Their manipulation would have made you question the very instruction I gave you in secret. Their hidden resentment would have followed you into rooms I opened and turned celebration into heaviness. This is why I stepped in. This is why I allowed distance. This is why I did not let every tie remain strong. I was not being cruel to you. I was guarding what your tears had watered. Remember Abraham and Lot. The promise was spoken, but there was still an attachment that had to be loosened. Abraham carried destiny, but Lot carried a mixture connected to another direction. And when separation came, it looked like loss for a moment. But after Lot departed, I told Abraham to lift up his eyes and look northward, southward, eastward, and westward. The vision widened after the attachment was loosened. The promise became clearer after the separation. My child, there are some things I will only show you after you stop dragging into the future what belongs to the former season. Do not rush to stitch back together what I have untied. Do not run after relationships I have removed because loneliness has made you afraid. Do not reopen doors that I closed with wisdom. If a connection keeps pulling you into confusion, if it demands access but rejects correction, if it celebrates your weakness but resents your healing, if it uses love as a chain and guilt as a rope, then do not call it covenant when I am calling it bondage. Be still. Let me prune. Let me cleanse. Let me separate what was familiar from what is fruitful. This does not mean your pain is imaginary. I have counted every tear that fell when their seat became empty. I saw how you missed the sound of their voice, how you hoped they would understand, how you wished they could come with you. I do not mock that grief. I hold it. But I am telling you, my dear one, you did not lose everyone. I removed those who could not walk into the next room with you. They were strong enough for a chapter, but not strong enough for the door. They were permitted for a season, but not appointed for the surprise. So release them without hatred. Bless them without returning to bondage. Forgive them without handing them the keys again. I am purifying the circle around you, because the next place requires clean agreement, quiet strength, and people who do not secretly fight what I openly bless. And when the circle becomes smaller, do not panic. Sometimes I reduce the noise around you so you can hear me more clearly. Sometimes I remove the applause so your obedience becomes pure. For after I purify who stands beside you, I teach you how to stand when no one claps, when no answer is visible, and when faith must learn to remain alive in silence. My beloved child, when the circle became smaller and the noise became quieter, you thought the silence meant something had gone wrong. You thought the absence of constant confirmation meant I had stepped away. You prayed, but nothing moved in front of your eyes. You served, but no one seemed to notice the purity of your sacrifice. You obeyed instructions that cost you comfort, and still the door did not open quickly. You kept showing up with a tired heart, kept whispering my name with a dry mouth, kept doing the right thing while feeling forgotten, and deep inside you wondered, Lord, if you are with me, why does everything feel so still? But hear me, my dear one. My silence never means my absence. My quietness is not abandonment. My stillness is not neglect. There are moments when I do not speak loudly because I am teaching your faith to stand without leaning on noise. There are moments when I hide the signs because I am training your soul to trust my nature more than your circumstances. There are moments when I remove applause because I am purifying the reason you obey. If you only trust me when you feel me, then your faith is still being carried by emotion. If you only continue when people recognize you, then your obedience is still tied to reward. If you only believe when progress is visible, then your heart has not yet learned to rest in my word alone. This is why the silent season became your classroom. I was not merely watching what you would do when doors opened. I was examining what you would do when nothing seemed to change. Would you still pray when prayer felt dry? Would you still forgive when no one apologized? Would you still serve when no one clapped? Would you still obey when obedience made you look overlooked? Would you still call me good when your feelings could not confirm it? These questions were not sent to destroy you. They were sent to strengthen the part of you that must remain standing when the blessing arrives. Remember Joseph, my child. The prison looked like delay, but it was positioning. The chains looked like contradiction, but they were moving him closer to Pharaoh's door. Men forgot him, but I did not forget him. The cupbearer failed to mention him at the time Joseph expected, but heaven had not lost the address of the prison. I allowed that silence because the appointed moment had not yet come. If Joseph had been released too early, he may have walked out free but not positioned. But when the hour arrived, the same place that looked like confinement became the road to elevation. What people called forgotten, I called prepared. And remember David, the field looked hidden. The sheep looked small. The wilderness looked like a place where no one important was watching. His brothers were seen in the house, but David was outside in the lonely place, carrying oil in his future while still smelling like the field. Yet that field was not a mistake. It trained his hands. It softened his heart. It taught him to protect what was weak, to fight when no one applauded, to worship when no crowd gathered, to be faithful over sheep before being trusted with a nation. The throne required a shepherd heart, so I trained him where people forgot to look. So do not despise the silence that trained you. Do not curse the hiddenness that made you steady. Do not think nothing was happening because nothing was visible. I was building endurance beneath your tears. I was making your faith strong enough to stand without signs, without applause, without feelings, without constant confirmation. Progress that is seen is not the only progress. Sometimes the deepest movement happens where no one can measure it. Sometimes the greatest preparation takes place in rooms that look ordinary, lonely, and unfinished. My child, you are not behind. You are being taught how to remain, and after faith has been proven in hiddenness, after your spirit has learned to stand when your eyes see nothing, the last stretch often begins to feel heavier. Not because I have left you, but because the door is closer than it has ever been. The final moments can feel the longest. The pressure can increase right before release. The night can feel thickest right before dawn. So, stand still now. The silence has trained you, and what it trained in you will be needed for the door that is about to open. My beloved child, this is why I am calling your heart back before your feet move. Do not quit in the last 5 minutes. Do not step away because the pressure has become loud. Do not interpret the heaviness as proof that nothing is coming. Many times the final stretch feels unbearable, not because the promise has died, but because the promise is closer than your emotions can understand. The last moments before release often feel longer than all the waiting that came before them, because your soul is tired, your strength feels thin, and the enemy begins to speak with urgency because he knows heaven has already moved. You have noticed it, my child. Discouragement has become louder. Old fears have returned with familiar voices. Thoughts you thought you had overcome have tried to rise again. Distractions have multiplied around you. Small offenses have tried to pull your focus. Weariness has whispered, just settle, just accept less, just stop expecting so much. Maybe this is all there will ever be. But listen to me. That voice is not my voice. I do not lead you into despair and call it wisdom. I do not train you through waiting only to command you to surrender to hopelessness at the door. The temptation to settle becomes strongest when the appointed thing is close, because settling is the enemy's substitute for receiving. Do not step back. Do not agree with despair. Do not call final testing failure. Do not let one hard week rewrite everything I have spoken over your life. Do not let a tired mind become the prophet of your future. Your exhaustion is real, but it is not lord over my decree. Your emotions are trembling, but they do not have authority to cancel what I have appointed. Your eyes may see no movement, but in the spirit there has already been movement. The surprise has been dispatched. The answer has been approved. The decree has been signed in heaven, though your room has not yet seen the evidence. My child, the enemy wants you to abandon your post right before the knock comes. He wants you offended, distracted, bitter, reckless, and careless with your mouth. He wants you to say, God did not come through, right before the sound of arrival reaches your door. He wants you to make agreement with disappointment, because agreement gives weight to words that were never sent by me. He knows he cannot stop what I have ordained, but he will try to move you out of position. He cannot erase the decree, but he can tempt you to leave the place where the decree was appointed to meet you. Be still. Stand where I told you to stand. Return to the instruction I gave you before the pressure increased. If I told you to wait, wait with clean hands. If I told you to be silent, do not defend yourself through the flesh. If I told you to forgive, do not pick up the old chain again. If I told you to prepare, do not lie down in despair as though nothing is coming. This final test is not proof that I have changed my mind. It is the last shaking of what cannot enter the next room with you. It is the pressing that reveals whether your trust is rooted in my nature or only in visible relief. Remember, my dear one, dawn does not ask the night for permission. The door I opened does not need approval from the people who doubted you. The portion I have signed over your name does not depend on the mood of those who overlooked you. In the throne room, I have already spoken concerning you. What is appointed for you has not been misplaced. What I have prepared has not been handed to another. What I promised has not expired because time felt long. There is an order in heaven that your eyes have not yet read, but soon your life will begin to carry the evidence. So now, while the surprise is still hidden, guard yourself, guard your mouth, guard your posture, guard your obedience. Do not let waiting make you careless. Do not let fatigue make you speak against the very thing I am sending. The knock is closer than you think, and when it comes, let it find you faithful, not frantic, surrendered, not bitter, watching, not wandering. My child, hold your place. The last 5 minutes feel the longest because the door is closest, and what is coming must find you still believing. My beloved child, while the surprise is still hidden, guard your mouth as if you are guarding a gate. Do not let defeat pass through your lips and call it honesty. Do not let bitterness dress itself as wisdom. Do not let envy speak from the place where faith should be standing. I know you are tired. I know the waiting has pressed your heart. I know there are moments when your tongue wants to say, nothing is changing, nothing is coming. I have waited for nothing. But my child, do not use your own mouth to agree with the prison I am bringing you out of. Your words matter in this final season. Complaining can become a road back to Egypt in your emotions, even while I am leading you toward promise. Did not my people look at freedom and still long for chains because the wilderness felt uncomfortable? They had left Egypt with their feet, but their mouths kept calling their hearts backward. Be careful, my dear one. A complaining mouth can make bondage look safer than obedience. A bitter tongue can make the old season seem better than the unknown road of faith, but praise keeps your heart aligned with promise. Thanksgiving reminds your soul that I am still good before the evidence appears. So speak life while you wait. Speak trust while your eyes still see nothing. Speak obedience while your feelings are still trembling. Say, my God has not forgotten me. My place is still appointed. My heart will not turn back. My mouth will not curse what heaven is preparing. This is not pretending there is no pain. This is choosing that pain will not become your prophet. This is refusing to let the enemy borrow your lips to announce defeat over a life I have already covered with purpose. Keep praying, keep showing up, keep forgiving, keep preparing, keep doing the last instruction I gave you. Do not demand a new word because you grew tired of obeying the old one. If I told you to prepare, prepare quietly. If I told you to wait, wait with worship. If I told you to forgive, release the debt again. If I told you to clean your heart, then remove resentment, remove pride, remove hidden unbelief, because the guest of blessing is already near the door. My child, preparation is faith. When you clean the room of your heart before the knock comes, you are saying you believe I am near. When you guard your mouth before the evidence arrives, you are saying, my word is more real than your weariness. So write it as a declaration, not for the eyes of people, but as a seal over your own heart. My surprise is at the door, and I will not leave my place. And now, with your mouth guarded, your heart aligned, and your posture surrendered, listen carefully. What your eyes have not yet seen has already been settled in the courts of heaven. My beloved child, listen carefully now, because your eyes are not the highest court. Your emotions are not the final judge. Your circumstances do not hold the pen that signs or cancels what belongs to you. In the throne room, I have already signed my name over the portion appointed for your life. Before you saw a sign, I saw the fulfillment. Before you heard a knock, I gave the order. Before the door appeared in front of you, heaven had already measured the timing, prepared the path, guarded the blessing, and placed your name upon what I determined would meet you in due season. Do not let delay convince you that the decree has been erased. Do not let the enemy tell you that time has weakened my promise. Do not let jealous voices make you feel disqualified from what I have ordained. No closed door has authority over my open hand. No past mistake has more power than my mercy. No accusation in the mouth of man can overturn what I have spoken in the courts of heaven. If I have appointed it, then it is secured. If I have signed it, then it stands. If I have declared it, then even resistance must bow before my timing. My child, I know you have looked at what did not happen and wondered if you failed. You watched an opportunity pass. You saw a person leave. You felt a door close. You thought, maybe that was my chance. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I ruined what God wanted to give me. But hear me with a calm heart. What passed you was not always the promise. Sometimes it was the lesser thing wearing the clothing of the answer. Sometimes it looked good enough to satisfy your impatience, but it was not clean enough to carry my peace. Sometimes I refused to let you receive what you wanted quickly because I was protecting what I had appointed fully. You called it disappointment, but in truth, I was refusing to let a substitute sit in the seat of destiny. I did not allow the wrong door to open because the appointed door was still being prepared. I did not let the wrong hand hold you because the right season had not yet arrived. I did not let the lesser portion remain because I will not train you for inheritance and then feed you with crumbs. My wisdom has not been against you. My timing has not been cruel. My protection has sometimes looked like denial, but it was mercy, standing between you and what would have distracted, drained, or delayed your obedience. And yes, my dear one, the surprise may not arrive in the form you imagined. It may not come through the person you expected. It may not open from the direction your mind has been watching. It may not look like the picture you built in your own understanding. But when it comes, it will carry my fingerprint. It will carry my peace. It will carry the weight of my timing. It will arrive with a wisdom that makes you say, now I understand why God did not let it happen before. Now I see why that door had to close. Now I see why I had to wait. This is why I tell you, do not grow weary in doing good, for in due season you shall reap if you do not give up. Due season is not forgotten season. Due season is not random season. Due season is the appointed moment when what has been secured in heaven becomes visible on earth. You have been sowing through tears, sowing through obedience, sowing through silence, sowing through forgiveness, sowing through hidden faithfulness, and I have not ignored one seed. I have not misplaced one prayer. I have not overlooked one act of obedience done when nobody clapped for you. So rest your heart under my decree. Stop trying to force open what I have not opened. Stop trying to control the shape of the answer. Stop grieving as though my hand is empty. What I have for you will not need to be stolen, begged for, manipulated, or chased in panic. It will come with my authority upon it. It will come with my protection around it. It will come at the time your soul is able to receive it without being destroyed by it. Now surrender the need to know every detail. Surrender the fear that you have been forgotten. Surrender the striving that makes you feel responsible for doing what only I can do. The decree is established, my child. Heaven has already signed what your eyes have not yet seen. Now let your heart become still enough to receive it without fear, without control, and without losing the one who sent it. My beloved child, when the surprise comes, do not let your hands become full while your heart becomes empty of me. Do not receive what I send and then forget the one who carried you while you were waiting. This is why I have been teaching you surrender before arrival, humility before promotion, gratitude before increase, and dependence before open doors. The blessing is safest in the hands of someone who still wants me more than the gift. The answer is safest in a heart that can rejoice without becoming proud, receive without becoming careless, and rise without looking down on those who are still waiting. I am not only preparing you to enter the door, I am preparing you to remain faithful after the door opens. Many cry out for relief, but few ask for the character to carry relief well. Many ask for abundance, but few ask for a heart that will not drift when abundance comes. Many say, Lord, bless me, but I am asking, when I bless you, will you still seek me in the morning? When I answer you, will you still kneel? When the pressure is lifted, will your worship remain? When your tears turn into testimony, will you remember the secret place where I held you together? My child, the true miracle is not only that the answer arrives, the true miracle is that you remain mine when it does, that your heart stays tender, that your obedience stays clean, that your mouth stays grateful, that your identity does not become attached to the thing I placed in your hands. I do not want the gift to become your God. I do not want the door to become your dwelling place. I do not want the surprise to steal the affection that was purified in the waiting. What I am sending is good, but it is not greater than me. What I am opening is beautiful, but it is not your source. What I am placing before you will change your circumstance, but only my presence can keep your soul whole. So surrender now. Surrender the timeline you built in your mind. Surrender the picture that became too small for my wisdom. Surrender the bitterness that grew when others seemed to receive before you. Surrender comparison, because another person's portion is not a prophecy of your rejection. Surrender the fear of disappointment, because fear keeps asking you to protect yourself from hope. But I am teaching you to hope in me without demanding control. Lay down the need to understand every delay. Lay down the anger that says waiting was wasted. Lay down the old question that whispers, why not me? And let me replace it with the truth. You were not forgotten, you were being formed. You are not rejected, you are not behind, you are not disqualified, you are not someone heaven overlooked while others were chosen. You are my child, being prepared for inheritance. You are my beloved, hidden under my covering until your heart could carry what your prayers were asking for. You are not coming into this surprise as a beggar who found mercy by accident. You are coming as a child whose father knew the appointed time, guarded the appointed door, and worked in hidden places until the outside could finally agree with what I was building inside you. And when the surprise arrives, you will understand that it is not only about what changes around you. It will confirm what I changed within you. It will reveal patience where panic used to rule. It will reveal discernment where desperation used to speak. It will reveal gratitude where resentment once tried to grow. It will reveal a steadier faith, a cleaner yes, a deeper surrender. The blessing will not be proof that I finally remembered you. It will be evidence that I was remembering you the whole time. So open your hands, but keep your heart bowed. Expect my goodness, but do not worship the form in which it comes. Receive with joy, but remain dependent. Walk through the door, but keep listening for my voice. Let the surprise make you more humble, not more distant, more grateful, not more entitled, more surrendered, not more controlling. For I am bringing you into a place where your testimony will not say only, God gave me what I asked for. It will say, God made me ready, God kept me faithful, God protected me from receiving too soon, and when the time came, I wanted him more than everything he placed in my hands. Now let your heart answer me without panic. Let your soul become still enough to trust. Do not grab, do not strive, do not fear that I will bring you this far and leave you empty. Come close, my child. Bring me the waiting, the weariness, the hope, the trembling, the surrender, and let your spirit pray from the place that still believes. O Almighty God, my Father, my shelter, my defender, my keeper in the long night, I bring before you the one who almost walked away. I bring before you the heart that has been tired from waiting, the soul that has tried to believe while carrying disappointment, the hands that have held on even when they were trembling. Strengthen your child now. Breathe again into the places where hope has grown weak. Touch the places where delay became painful. Heal the wound that formed when answers seemed slow, when doors seemed closed, when prayers seemed unanswered, when the heart whispered, maybe I should stop expecting. Father, silence the voice of despair. Silence the lying voice that says nothing is coming. Silence the voice that says the waiting was wasted. Silence every thought that tries to make your child leave the appointed place before the appointed knock arrives. My beloved child, receive this now. I am asking the Father to restore your courage for the final stretch. Not the courage that shouts to impress people, but the quiet courage that stays faithful when no one sees. The courage to wake up and obey again. The courage to pray again. The courage to prepare again. The courage to guard your mouth again. The courage to stand at the post where I placed you and say, I may be tired, but I am still here. I may not see it yet, but I still trust my God. Father, cover the surprise appointed for your child. Guard it from every counterfeit door. Guard it from every false opportunity that looks good but carries confusion. Guard it from every impatient decision that would pull them into something you never ordained. Close what must be closed. Block what must be blocked. Remove what must be removed. Let no substitute sit in the seat of promise. Let no anxious choice steal the peace of your timing. When the true door comes, let it carry your fingerprint. Let it carry your peace. Let it come with clarity, not chaos. With holiness, not compromise. With confirmation, not confusion. And until that door opens, keep your child hidden under the shadow of your wings. Teach them patience without passivity. Teach them waiting that still obeys, waiting that still prepares, waiting that still forgives, waiting that still cleans the heart, waiting that still worships in the quiet place. Do not let them confuse surrender with giving up. Do not let them confuse stillness with death. Make their faith alive, even in silence. Let them keep oil in their lamp. Let them keep praise in their mouth. Let them keep their spirit tender before you. Let them not sleep in bitterness when you have called them to watch in faith. And now, I declare over you, my child, you will not quit in the last 5 minutes. You will not trade promise for impatience. You will not leave before the knock comes. You will not curse the season that prepared you. You will not run back to what I delivered you from because the wilderness felt long. You will not agree with despair when heaven has already signed your portion. You will not abandon your post. You will not throw away your confidence. You will stand. You will wait. You will believe. You will receive what I send, and when it comes, you will still belong to me. Father, let this prayer become a seal over their heart. Let peace settle where panic has been speaking. Let surrender replace striving. Let expectation rise again, not wild and restless, but steady and holy. Let your child know that they are not forgotten, not rejected, not late, not disqualified. Let them feel your nearness in the hidden place. Let them trust that what is appointed will not miss them when they remain where you told them to stand. My dear one, rest now, breathe again, open your hands. Let go of the fear that you must force the door open. Let go of the pressure to understand every delay. Let go of the old grief that told you your waiting had no meaning. I am with you in the waiting, and I will be with you in the receiving. The surprise is not greater than the one who sends it. The door is not greater than the Father who opens it. Stay close to me, and you will not miss what I have prepared. If this word has met you in a weary season, stay connected for more prophetic encouragement while you wait, while you heal, and while you learn to trust my timing. Share this with someone who is tired of waiting, someone who almost walked away, someone who needs to remember that the final stretch is not the end of the promise. And leave your prayer request in the comments, so this community can stand with you, pray with you, and believe with you until the appointed door opens. Now write this as your declaration, not as empty words, but as agreement with faith. My surprise is already at the door, and I will wait with faith.